party started.
It's a party.
Yes.
Okay, I just have to keep one eye on my email because we're still getting RSVPs. So I want to send people the link
I will
if they
do
join.
that.
Hi everybody. Welcome to our endorsed candidate Zoom. My name is Kim Elmore, and I'm the president of the Jacksonville chapter of the National Organization for Women. I look a little fried because I've been watching my niece's 4 children for a week and their puppy, and I'm a child-free person, so it's been 84 years. Anyway, we're really excited to have the majority of our endorsed candidates on the call. Feel really privileged that y'all could take the time to talk with our membership. I know, this leading up to early voting starting this week, you guys have 100 demands on your time. So we're super appreciative of you being able to join with us tonight. And we have a couple of people that are going to be having to leave a little early because they have another commitment. And then we have a few other people that are going to be joining late because they have a previous commitment. So we'll just keep it all very flexible and pretty informal. That's how we roll in our chapter. Um, I think we've talked to, well, the candidates all know our endorsement process. And if you're not familiar with it, we sent out a very detailed questionnaire to every candidate that was running, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats. And then of those that responded, a small group of us went through and looked at the responses and ranked them and kind of gave them grades. And then that's how we decided our endorsements. So it's a pretty thorough process. Um, and then we'd like to financially endorse candidates. We can't do any endorsements on the national level, just due to legalities, but the local and state races we try to as much as possible. Anything else I should add from the leadership team? Am I forgetting anything as an intro? I'm keeping the intro very quick because we have a lot of candidates that we want to introduce themselves, and then we definitely want to have time for Q&A at the end as well. So, having said that, we're going to start with Art Stressing. He is one of the folks that might need to dip out a little early. So we'll start with him and Monet and LaShonda, and then we'll kind of go reverse alphabetical order from there, if that's cool with everybody else. And if you do have some kind of late breaking time constraints, feel free to either message the group or message me separately, and we'll make it work. Okay, so I'll turn it over to Art. And each candidate, if you can keep to 3 minutes as tightly as possible so we can make sure we have time for questions and answers at the end. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. My name's Art Stressing. I'm running for the Florida House of Representatives, District 18. Now that covers Fruit Cove, Nocatee, Ponte Vedra, a little bit above St. Augustine, Summer World Golf Village, Rivertown, basically the upper portion of St. John's with a cutoff of SR 16. I have a primary election August 18th. Early voting is August 8th to the 15th in St. John's. So I'm gonna need you to get your family, your friends, anybody that you know that lives in this area that's a Democrat, get them out to vote, and most importantly, get them to vote for me. I'm fighting for more money for our schools, healthcare, and our veterans. I personally know someone who lost her job due to budget cuts in our schools. Our schools have a $23 million deficit. Our teachers, their salaries are ranked 50th in the nation for the third year in a row. Our teachers in St. John's are ranked 54th in the state, and we're supposed to be the #1 school district. As for veterans, I'm the son of a disabled Navy veteran and a Filipina immigrant mother. My wife is currently on active duty orders in the U.S. Navy, so we're a proud military family. As for healthcare, my kids are 7 and 10 years old. They're half Jamaican. They lost their mother to cancer 4 years ago. Thank God we had insurance that was able to cover the cost of her treatment as well as the cost of the therapy I have them in right now to make sure they're okay. I know a lot of people aren't as fortunate. A lot of families struggle with bankruptcy, losing their life savings, losing their homes. I want to make sure that doesn't happen to anyone. These 3 issues are near and dear to my heart. They affected me directly, they affect people I know, and they affect countless other families as well. Now, I've spent well over the past decade, 11 years, fighting for, protecting, and defending the rights of poor people as a defense attorney at the Public Defender's Office in downtown Jacksonville. I've literally helped set numerous innocent people free. But if you think about it, my job is essentially political in nature. I have to negotiate between 2 adversaries, a state prosecutor that wants to punish my client and a client that would much rather not take their medicine. I have to bridge that gap. And I do that by convincing that state prosecutor to take it easy on my client, to give him a break. And I do that through negotiation, mitigation, sometimes just a simple conversation. I get them to empathize and to sympathize with my client, who may be suffering from mental health issues, addiction issues, abuse they suffered as a child. I have to take two opposing viewpoints and make them meet in the middle. That's politics. That's literally what I do on a daily basis and what I'm going to do for you as your representative. Now, I'm not blind. I know how difficult this uphill battle will be. We're outnumbered 3-1 by Republicans, but I don't care. I really don't care. I I don't care how red my county or district is. I don't care how red uh, the state may be. I don't care that the incumbent, Ken Kendall, got 69.9% of the vote, because it doesn't matter. This time it's different. This time people are fed up with MAGA. They're sick and tired of high gas prices, high grocery prices. I have a team of family and friends that are working for free, and they consist of uh, retired and disabled veterans on my campaign staff and volunteering. I have attorneys on my campaign staff and volunteering. I even have registered Republicans on my campaign staff and volunteering. But I know they're not enough. That's why I need all of you and anyone you know, and even then, you're not enough. I need your family, your friends, your neighbors to vote, donate, and volunteer. And I need their friends, their family, and their neighbors to vote, donate, and volunteer. And on top of all of that, I need all of you and all of them to get independents, Republicans, their family, their friends, their neighbors to vote, donate, and volunteer. We need reasonable, compassionate people with common sense. That's how we win. Because if the last 2 years of insanity has shown us anything at all, it's that we need a change, and we are that change. So get out there and vote and make sure your voices are heard. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Art. Thank you very much. And then, like I said, in the interest of time, we're just going to roll on to the next candidate. And then, like I said, we'll swing back for questions at the end. So as these candidates are talking, kind of maybe, take a note or think about what you want to ask. So our next introduction is going to be from Monet Holder.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being on this Zoom, but most importantly, I'm honored to have the endorsement of Jax Now. I am, again, a Monet Holder. I'm your candidate for Jacksonville City Council at Large, Group 1. A little bit about me. I grew up in a working class family, originally from Brooklyn, New York. I've been in Jacksonville for a little over 13 years, close to 14 years. And, my family instilled in me a lot of values as it relates to serving others, loyalty, and standing up for what's right. I began my career in advocacy as a young girl, fighting for different issues in our communities and really looking for candidates who would support especially marginalized communities when I was a little girl. Moved on to attend Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, Florida, where I received my master's degree in political science and my master's degree in public administration and my undergraduate degree in political science. And while being in Tallahassee, that's where I learned about policy work by working in the House and the Senate and as a staffer in the House Minority Office. I also learned what it's like to see communities come up to Tallahassee and not get work done, and what it's like to have good legislators want to do good work and be outnumbered. So I took, my knowledge and expertise from the legislature, my educational background, and my passion for community, and I started working at Florida Rising. And I've been in nonprofit leadership there for almost 2 decades. And the work that I've done is around affordable housing, criminal justice reform, voting rights, and reproductive justice work, and have, really learned the importance of grassroots advocacy and the impact that it has on communities. I was appointed to the Jacksonville Planning Commission in 2023 by Mayor Deegan, where I currently serve as chair. And now for me, it's the opportunity to take all of that and run and serve the city of Jacksonville on the council. This seat is a special election because it is being vacated by Terrence Freeman. So it will be on the ballot Tuesday, August 18th, and it'll be the only city council race that you see. It's a unitary election, so regardless of party affiliation, anyone can vote. However, I am the only Democrat on the ballot. Given that it is at large, everyone, regardless of where you live, if you're a registered voter in Duval County, you will have this seat on your ballot. And I'm running for a couple reasons, not only just to serve, but because I believe that it's time to bring more ethical leadership and transparency to City Hall. Although I've worked in politics, and my whole life. I've done it on behalf of the people, so I'm not considered a political insider, and I don't intend to trade political favors for investments in our community. I also believe that I need to fight to make Jacksonville a more affordable city, and that means investments not only in affordable housing, so we make sure that our folks are housed and can continue to be housed, but also in expanding workforce development, so there are jobs in this city that reach every person across town, that gives them more than a living wage so they're able to live quality of life. And most importantly, I'm running because I believe everyone deserves to be safe in their neighborhoods. And for me, public safety definitely includes investments in our fire, our police, and our emergency medical services, but it also includes investments in communities such as sidewalks, upgrades to our parks, investments in flood resiliency. As I sit in my car heading to my next event, it is storming outside right now, and flooding is a real issue in many parts of town. And investments in public safety also means making sure that our seniors don't have to worry about where their next meals are going to be, or cuts to programs such as Meals on Wheels, and including our youth in investments as it relates to not just our parks, but different programming after school and in the summer, and sports activities to keep our kids off the street. Because for me, public safety is not just addressing crime, but it's preventing it. So I hope that I'm able to earn your vote on Tuesday, August 18th. Here in Duval County, early voting begins this Friday, August 7th. Many folks have received their vote by mail ballot, so I'm in the process of just encouraging them to return it. What my day looks like is definitely being in spaces like this, where I'm able to talk to folks who support me, but also getting my name out to voters who may have not met me yet, and to understand that there is a special election. There is a lot riding on my race, as well as the others that are on the ballot here. So again, I'm honored to be here tonight. Thank you so much for your flexibility and my timing and my schedule, and allowing me to go sooner on the agenda. And I'll come off camera and go on mute, and then just listen out if there's any questions that I'm hopefully able to answer before I have to jump off. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Monet. Thanks for taking the time. And next up, who was also in a time crunch, is LJ Holloway. Mute.
You're muted.
I unmuted. Thank you. Greetings, everyone. First and foremost, let me just say thank you, National Organization for Women, for the recommendation. And I apologize. Our graphic designer put endorsement because I told her, make sure you put out the endorsement from now. And she literally put the word endorsement. So I apologize if that caused any consternation. But let me just say, I applaud this organization, this chapter in particular. I have worked with you over the years, and you are always civically engaged, and that's what we need more of in this climate. I am LaShonda L.J. Holloway. For those of you who don't know who I am running for the United States House of Representatives Congressional District 4, which encompasses all of Clay County, all of Nassau County, and parts of Duval, north and west of the St. Johns River. I share that because I have 16 cities across the 4th Congressional District, and I am currently in Clay County, and early voting starts in Nassau County on Thursday, and Clay on Saturday, and Duval on Friday. Hence my having to leave this call, but I wanted to just tell you a little about myself. Not only am I the 4th of 6 generations from Jacksonville, Florida, but I not only have a passion for the people, I genuinely love the people, which is why I have run for this seat not once and not twice. However, this is the time where we will defeat Aaron Bean. We must defeat the unseen Aaron Bean. I will tell you that not only did I earn my law degree from University of Florida, but I have depth and breadth of federal experience. I have worked on Capitol Hill for Congresswoman Carrie Meek. I have worked for the United States Environmental Protection Agency, as well as serving as director in the executive office of the mayor in Washington, D.C. I'm sharing that because in Washington, it's federal, and we need people who not only have federal experience, but we need people who are willing to fight for not only our rights, voting rights, civil rights, and human rights, but who will also codify Roe. Congress is the only body that can codify Roe versus Wade. And as a woman who holds her reproductive rights at a very high standard, I want you to know that I will fight vigorously daily to ensure that, look, the government is not in a woman's doctor's office, and that whatever decision she makes regarding her body is between she and her family. I wholeheartedly subscribe to bodily autonomy, and I will fight for the values that I espoused not only in your questionnaire, but also also the national values of National Organization for Women. I wholeheartedly agree with all of the pillars that are stated nationally, and I will fight to defend those vigorously. Moreover, I care about affordable health care. Some of you may know that I had a brain tumor and could not walk or talk, and I had to get injections that cost to the tune of almost $2,500 a month because my insurance deemed it experimental. I am here today. However, I realize there are a number of people who probably are no longer with us because they did not have an executive insurance and could afford the injections. So, affordable health care and affordable housing are two issues that are very dear to me. I do believe that in this country, look, the way that you build wealth is through home ownership, and there are too many persons in this country who are unhoused. I literally just yesterday found out that someone I knew was unhoused. And this lady is a teacher. She and her children could no longer afford to pay rent. And I hate to say it, but Florida it ranks 50 in teacher pay. And if the median price of a home is $390,000 and a teacher is making $60,000, she cannot afford to buy a home in today's economy. So we need to make sure that there is affordable housing. And we do know that the 21st Century Road to Housing Act has passed. However, we have to make sure that we have people in Congress who not only can negotiate, but who will make sure that we return those federal dollars back to our district. And that is exactly what I plan to do for the people of the 4th Congressional District. I know that there are others who are coming behind me, so I will put my phone on mute. And if I don't answer, if you call my name, it is because I have been called by David Jolly, but I am willing to answer any questions that anyone may have. In the interim, you can find more about me at hollowayforcongress.com, and I am on all the socials under LJ, the number 4 Congress. Thank you for your time and good evening.
Thank you, LJ. Okay, like I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to now go in reverse alphabetical order, and I actually had left somebody off the list that I just caught. So we're actually going to begin now with Eric, and then we'll go Eric Yonts, and then we'll go to Donna. And I think I'm horrible at cutting people off, but I think we're going to need to. So when it's like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm going to say 30 seconds and try not to be too intrusive, but that's what I'm going to do. So Eric, it's your go.
This is the first that my Yance has now helped me with going first. So thank you for that. And I'm setting a timer now. But thank you all for having me. And thank you for the endorsement as well. That truly means a lot. But my name is Eric Yance. I am a third generation Floridian. I've grown up in this area, just outside of Ocala, Florida, and I've spent my entire life pretty much in this district. I'm an ex-retail worker. I spent 20 plus years in retail working for Target, Toys R Us, Dick's Sporting Goods, eventually being able to move up to run stores. Retail showed me a lot of things. It showed me different ways to connect with people, to build teams, what true leadership is, and that's the biggest thing I see right now. I am running in District 6. So for those that don't know, District 6 is South St. Johns County, around St. Augustine Beach area, all the way to Daytona Beach South or Daytona Beach Shores. And it goes all the way over to Marion County, to the Ocala area, DeLand, Lady Lake, Mount Dora, up to Palaca. It is a large area. We have one of the most divisive human beings as our congressman, that is Randy Fine. He has no connection to our district. I could go on. We have a true path forward with him. And I want you all to know this, that making it out of August 18th, we have some areas already starting early voting, but making out of our August 18th, we have a pathway to win against Randy Fine or whoever the Republican nomination will be to actually bring real change to our district. Three key things that I've been running on and that I care a lot about is one, getting the money out of our political system. That is the root of all evil. If we really want substantive change like healthcare, tax reform, we need to get the money out from behind our politics. The second is bringing money back home. As I said, I grew up here. We need investment in our communities. We need investment in the people and the infrastructure. We need to bring that home, and it takes someone that has understood the area to do that. And the third is standing up against this AI development with data centers, with flock cameras. We need true regulation in place. We need protections for our environment, for our workers. And honestly, like privacy protections as we start to see the expansion of flock. Those are been my kind of talking points as we move this campaign forward, and it's resonating with every resident that's in this community. But we have a true path. We are able to flip this. I know we will, and I'm excited to get on after August 18th to really push this forward. So I made it in time. I thank you all for your time today, and I'll be around for any questions as well.
Thank you, Eric. I was just getting ready to work in my 30 seconds and I saw you wrapping up, so you saved me. Next we have Donna Westrick.
Hi, everybody. My name is, oops, I forgot to start my timer. Wait, that's not my name. Sorry, I thought I was already starting my timer when Mr. Jans got on it. Oh, sorry. My name is Donna Westrick. I am running for school board in Duval County District 2. That's all three of the beaches, and it goes west to Kernan Boulevard. I have 20 years of teaching experience over the past 25 years. I am a parent of 2 students who attend public schools in Duval County, and I am a tax-paying property owner. I care so much for the students and teachers. My main platform is student success. The way we're going to get student success is we will retain and recruit high quality teachers. We will have, excuse me, sorry, I'm blanking for some reason. We'll have strong public schools for every neighborhood, and we will track the money. We're going to have transparent, financially secure budget so taxpayers can trust that we're putting our money into public schools and making sure we're putting student success first. What makes me different from the other candidates is that I have 20 years of experience in the classroom, and I care about every child. I have proven over the past 25 years that I work with every child, I work with every parent, I work with the teachers, and I'm really smart. I have a lot of great ideas about how we can make changes in the classroom. I have a lot of ideas of how we can fix things within our district related to schedules and classes and the way we group students. And I have a proven track record of working for student success. So no matter where you are or where you came from, I truly believe that education is the pathway to a brighter future. And I want to make sure that every student in Duval County has access to an equitable, high quality education. Although I'll be sitting in the seat for District 2, I will be making decisions on the whole county. And I really hope the entire district can see that I'm ready to work with everybody. I'm running a nonpartisan campaign and a nonpartisan election. And that's because that's who I am, but it's also how you have to be a representative in a seat where you have to represent everybody. And I would love to earn everybody's vote. Thank you so much, Jax Now, for recognizing me as an endorsable candidate. And that was thunder. All right. I will stop there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Donna. Next up, we have candidate Rian Tetson.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself. Let me start my timer also. All right. So my name is Ryan Tetson, and I am your candidate for Florida House of Representatives District 14. So a little bit about me. I have been a public servant my entire life. I was a state trooper, and in that time, I also was promoted to traffic homicide investigations. After that, I served as a child protective investigator for DCF. And currently, I am an investigator for Duval County Public Schools. So safe to say, nobody ever likes to see me coming, but I do take public service to heart. Each of those jobs has really taught me the same lesson in just different angles, which is that unfortunately, I've spent my entire life showing up after something has gone wrong. So I'm running for state representative because I want to be the reason that failure doesn't happen in the first place. And so with that, I believe this can be achieved through accountability, affordability, and assurance. And what I mean by that is accountability means that the government answers to the people as intended. Affordability means that your paycheck is not just getting through 2 weeks at a time. And then, of course, assurance means that any laws that are passed, they protect you, not just the people that it wants to carve out. That means no matter who you are, who you love, where you live, or how you pray. So I've created a platform of now 12 policies that I intend on pushing through committee day one when I get there. I want to hit the ground running, starting with specifically criminal justice reform, education reform, and women's rights. I want to make sure those get pushed through. I do have a personal grudge with those who don't support women's rights because I have unfortunately almost died in childbirth twice. So those who have a gripe with how women decide things for their body can meet me at the door because I'm ready. I'm ready to argue. That said, August 18th, I am running against the only other person listed, which is Kim Daniels. She's the current seat, keeping it warm for me. I hope to unseat her. But I do need your help. I need your votes. I need your support. Yes, as much as I love receiving monies and fundraising stuff, I prefer to have my name put out there. I prefer to have your support through your vote and through your voice by telling people about this campaign, because that's how I beat her. Thank you, Jax Now, for also your endorsement, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. I also was asked to tell anyone who's not speaking, if you would please mute yourself. And I think most people have at this point. I'm kind of late to say that. And so our next candidate to speak will be Susanna Pavel.
Hi, and thank you for having me. I am Susanna Pavel. I have lived in St. Augustine for 26 years. I'm a small business owner. And I am running for Florida House District 19, which encompasses southeastern St. Johns County, and all of Flagler. So southeastern St. Johns County is the island, east of US 1, the downtown area, the shores, the south, and the entirety of Flagler County, which includes Palm Coast, Bunnell, Flagler Beach. I am running because I'm tired of complaining about Florida and the politics here. And I want to make a change. I'm tired of seeing the overdevelopment. I'm tired of going to the county commissioner meetings and saying, let's stop with the development, because the problem is that the development starts in Tallahassee. The developer party, or the Republican Party that's been in control of the Florida legislature for 30 some odd years, has just been taking away home rule from the state. And so the county commissioners don't have teeth like they used to. And if we want to have any control over things, we need to change the Florida legislature. So I've been meeting a lot of the different candidates running for Florida House, building relationships with them. And I am also very much pro-choice. I've always been pro-choice. I was very concerned before Roe was overturned. And I will do everything in my power to restore bodily autonomy for women. We need to make our own healthcare decisions. Now, since Roe got overturned in Florida, more than 10,000 people are leaving the state a year for abortions, if not higher, which is just nuts. People are, well, they're dying, and we need to change it. And so hopefully I can help make some changes in the Florida House, but we need to vote for a whole bunch of people in the Florida House for Democrats, because if we can do that, we can make some changes. So please follow my campaign, follow me on Facebook, promote me, have your friends donate to my campaign, friends, family, and just definitely, and get a sign if you're in the area. So yeah. Thank you so much. And I was so grateful for this endorsement. There were a few that I wanted, and this was one of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One other bit of housekeeping I forgot to mention at the beginning was that anybody that can stay on a little longer, we can keep the Zoom open if we're really getting a good discussion going. So don't feel like, oh, I'm the last person and I might not get a question or whatnot. You might get your fair time. We can, at least I can stay on a little longer. And anyone that can is more than welcome to. And so now our next candidate is Jax Now's own Rachel Grage.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here tonight. I'm Rachel Grage, and I'm gunning for John Rutherford's seat in Congress. People ask me, Rachel, why are you running? And it's pretty simple. Congress is not doing its job. And I'm sick and tired of it, just like everybody else. We've got costs, we've got chaos, and we've got corruption like we've never seen before in this country. And right now we have a rubber stamp congressperson here in District 5. He's asleep at the wheel, and he wakes up just long enough to vote for everything that Trump wants. He's part of the Epstein class. He trades stocks without consequence while he ignores us. The rich get richer while the rest of us are left figuring out how to pay for everything. They don't care, and I'm ready to get in there and do the hard work to turn things around. When I get to Washington on day one, I'm going to join the End Corruption Caucus. I'm going to work on finally putting measures into place to rein in all this out of control corruption. For example, they're trying to sneak in the SAVE Act at the end of the insider trading bill. I mean, give me a break. I'm going to fight to get on day one, I'm going to fight to get the healthcare subsidies back. Right now, that's a first step. It's really just a Band-Aid on a really broken system. So we need to work toward universal health care, including eyes, teeth, and prescription drugs. And of course, women's health and reproductive rights need to be put back in the forefront of our healthcare needs and cost coverage. And finally, on day one, I'm going to work to dismantle ICE. I agree that we need border control, but we can do it in a fair and humane way, with a clear earned path to citizenship and reestablishing due process under the law. I'm so honored to be here tonight, to have earned the recommendation of the Jacksonville National Organization for Women. It really means more to me than you can imagine to have your support. So many of you have been beside me and behind me for years. I couldn't do it without you all, and I really wouldn't want to. I'm super grateful, and I humbly ask for all your votes on August 18th and again on Election Day. I think like an engineer and I fight like a mom. Rage against the machine. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, I'm a little jealous of that last name because I love that slogan. Next up is Chad Charland.
Thank you very much. My name is Chad Charland. I am a non-party affiliated candidate running for State House in District 15. District 15 is all of Nassau County and parts of northern Duval, north of 295, think Airport, River City area, and then down Normandy Boulevard, Baldwin, Cecil Airfield, that sort of area. And I am running without any previous ambition to do this because one of the foulest anti-woman, anti-choice, anti-LGBTQ, book banning, pro-Confederate monument legislators in all of Florida is the incumbent here, and was running unopposed. His name is Dean Black, and he is a true villain and an enemy of women. And when I learned this winter that he was going to run unopposed, I chose and felt compelled to get in this race, give people a chance to have a choice and to fight. Now, this endorsement, as everyone else has said, and I will echo, is incredibly meaningful to me. And I think it's so meaningful to me because I was raised by a single mom. And I remember every soccer practice, every homework assignment, every family vacation, every single day, how she showed up for me. And it breaks me up. It brings tears to my eyes. My mom is my next door neighbor. Now, one of my proudest achievements in life is having allowed her to retire in Florida, which was her dream. I've lived in Fernandina Beach since 2012. She's lived next door to me since 2015. And I determined from a very young age that I wouldn't just show up for my mom. I'd show up for every mom, for every woman, to do what I could to help women who are so systemically disadvantaged in this country. And as a tear rolls down my face, I will let you know that this evening I'm speaking from my car because I was at the Fernandina Beach City Commission meeting speaking out against flock cameras. Candidate Yance had a Zoom meeting earlier, or maybe it was last week, to talk about dismantling the surveillance dragnet that covers us in America and Florida especially. There's a lot of issues, but I'll stick to this one. And I see flock cameras as a women's issue because it is women who are being stalked by law enforcement thanks to these flock cameras and their ability to network and track our actions. So I promise, because I live my life this way, and vow that every single day I'm in Tallahassee, if I am fortunate enough to get here, I will keep women at the forefront of my mission. And if you'd like to learn more, you can go to charland4florida.com, CHARLAND for Florida.com. What I don't have is a lot of technical expertise. Otherwise, I wouldn't be iPhone 2. You can read my name tag. That's how you can get to charlandforflorida.com if you're in the district and would care to volunteer, meet me, whatever the case may be. I'd love to have you. I'll echo what Rachel said, and I've been fortunate enough to meet many of the women candidates running here tonight, is that I can't do this alone. I don't want to do this alone. Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. And then our next candidate is Rhodesia Butler.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to start my time as well. All right. I am super excited, as everyone else has said. I am just overjoyed to be endorsed by Jax Now. Again, my name is Rhodesia Butler, and I am running here in Duval County for School Board District 4. School Board District 4. And I am a mom of 3. Many a times I like to say I'm the oldest daughter until they tell me stop doing that. But I have 3 beautiful daughters who were educated here in Duval County and 3 amazing grandbabies who are also in our Duval County schools as well. So I was raised on the north side. In District 4, elementary, middle, and I graduated from Stanton College Prep from 7th through 12th grade on to Florida State University and finished my master's at Jacksonville University in educational leadership. And so on set, I was not in education for my original degree. I was sociology and a 35-year business owner. I sit before you, but I was asked when I returned back to Jacksonville to come to one of our 2 schools on the north side, and that's Raines and Ribault. And I asked why, and my former assistant principal said she needed me to help bring resources and my skill set to one of the schools because they were pinged by the state to be possibly taken over. And so I said, I'll give you 1 year, I'm back in Jacksonville. And that 1 year turned into 21 years. So I'm honored to say that I served 21 years here in our Duval County school system, from teacher to principal, and in between, I was a specialist, early college coordinator, which helped students to get their AA degrees and their high school diplomas. Both. I was also dean of discipline, assistant principal, and principal. I'm also excited that over the many years I certified myself to travel around the United States and actually do district accreditations. So where I sat with teams of a lot of different people with several credentials and actually analyzed the districts to see if they were in need of some other support or if they were actually okay and finalize their accreditation within that week. So with that, and then being a 35-year business owner here in Jacksonville, and handling nonprofits as well for many years, where we help students with their academics, their athletics, and their arts. I just feel like after retiring myself 2 years ago from Duval County Public Schools, it was just a tug on me to continue the work. I thought I was done, but God had a different plan. So I'm really excited to continue the work and to be able to actually run for this seat. And I hope to win this seat so that I can continue making sure we have retention change with teachers, making sure climate and cultures in our buildings are amazing so that kids can receive from teachers who are excited and principals and admin. Also making sure that we have workforce tracks that are added to our already academic spaces so that students have choices. You know, not everybody has the desire and not everybody knows all of the things that they need to do for college, but we want to make sure that they have those options as well, along with safety, academic achievement, and the list goes on. So I just want to continue serving. I am super excited that I've been endorsed by your organization, and I will be here for any other questions that you may have. And I'm just so blessed, and I thank you. I want your vote for Duval County School Board District 4, if you have family and friends. Also, you can go to row4education.com, and that's my website. If anyone wants to still donate, we have a few more days, and I would love to have your support. Thank you so much, and I'm honored to be here on this evening.
Thank you very much. And then our next candidate is Jason Bellamy Fultz. Excuse me.
Hey, good evening, y'all. My name's Jason Bellamy Fultz. I'm running for State Senate District 6. My district includes the gerrymandered half of Alachua County, as well as all of Baker, Bradford, Clay, Columbia, Gilchrist, and Union counties. I'm a member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 1205, and a labor activist out of Gainesville. I'm running against State Senator Jennifer Bradley, a union buster out of Fleming Island. I've got a long history in my community on working on a range of issues affecting working people's lives, such as fighting wage theft, fighting for living wages, union rights, affordable utilities, and renters' rights. And I'm hoping to take that work to Tallahassee. I'm running a campaign based on making Florida affordable for working families. And as many other folks have said, fighting back against corruption and the attacks on local control. So I'll keep it short. I really am honored by the endorsement and looking forward to working with y'all to get rid of some of these tyrants in Tallahassee and DC. And if anybody wants to check me out, my website is takingbackflorida.org. Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all the candidates that have introduced themselves and spoken so eloquently about the issues that we're all facing and that you are going to be fighting for us. Oh, that's not a bad idea. If you want to drop your website addresses in the chat, feel free to do that. We have a lot of this information in our newsletter, but there's no harm in sharing it far and wide. So now we do have the time. We have at least 15 minutes. And like I said, we can go a little bit longer if people have the time and interest. And we'll throw it open to questions from our attendees. And just be sure I would suggest either addressing it to our particular candidate or some kind of geography, right? Like state level candidates or something like that, but probably particular candidate. So if anybody's feeling bold and wants to speak up and go first, and also everybody just keep an eye on the chat that's got the links to the websites, and we'll compile all this information as well. And I should have said this at the beginning. We're recording this, which if it's not okay, please let me know. And that's fine. But if it's fine with all the candidates, then we'll post it, and other of our members can go and watch it if they weren't available tonight. Sorry about that, because I should have said that at the beginning. So we'll open it up to questions. Remember to unmute yourself. All right, well, I have a couple that the membership or the leadership team put together, just kind of thinking about getting the ball rolling. So, not to really put any one or two particular people on the spot, but this is more directed towards school board and also other local seats. So, jump in, whoever would like to. But this is was from one of our leadership members, and it was how to push back against groups like Moms for Liberty and asinine legislation from the governor's office at de-educating our children. For example, book bans, whitewashing history even more than usual, DEI rollbacks, etc. So how to push back against that? What are some effective methods you've been thinking about?
Okay, I can jump in. Rhodesia Butler again. I just think it really starts with educating and bringing community together, when I say educating teachers, the administrators, parents, everyone, stakeholders, because a lot of times when teachers and those of us that are in our specific spaces, we're concerned with teaching the child and doing what we need to do to make sure that we are gaining mastery and all of that. But I think that having those conversations and having true town hall meetings, not just saying, oh, we're going to have town hall meetings, but actually doing the work and meeting and bringing people together so that you can hear their questions, hear their concerns, and make sure that we are training everyone. So that way, when the time comes to have legislation written, it's not delayed. For example, 2017, the HOPE program that's coming into schools was already written in 2017. Now we're 2026, 2025. Parents were upset and schools are upset. Luckily, we've done a great job in Duval to keep that from happening, other than 2 schools are still on the table, but schools of hope. But we have to make sure that we're in the know and we let everybody know when it's happening so that we can come together and make sure that we get these things on the ballot and we vote against them so that we can move forward with educating our students.
Thank you very much, Rhodesia. Anybody else want to, Donna?
Yeah, can I jump in too?
Of
I
course.
agree. I usually always agree with Rhodesia. She's so smart, and I'm glad she and I are not in the same district, honestly. I can't wait to work with her someday, honestly. I really that would be a goal. But I agree that we need to educate the community. Part of my platform is I've promised to hold a town hall meeting once a month to get the community engaged. At the school board, you go to the meeting, you say your 1 minute, and they all nod, and then that's sort of it. I would love to have a more meaningful conversation with our community. But then also, all that stuff you mentioned is all coming from the state, like Rhodesia said. It's coming from above us. So we need to unify and work against it or try to change it at the state level. We're not going to be able to fix the vouchers or the funding or DEI or even the book ban policy from where we are, because we have rules that we have to follow. We don't make the rules, we follow the rules. So I'm ready to go to the next level and work with the legislature. And there's a line in the legislature that says the state of Florida has to provide every child in Florida with a equitable, safe, high quality education. And you can't have an equitable or safe education if you make some sections of students not feel welcome as far as diversity and inclusion. So let's make everybody feel welcome and included and make that the law instead of the opposite. So work hard, day one.
Thank you. Very good. Anyone else feeling inspired about this? We've got some other questions teeing up, so that'll probably be more related to your individual races.
I mean, I can throw in really quickly, just because we have people like Donna and Rhodesia working at the local level. I feel excited about my particular race because I know that one of my top priorities is education. To put it plainly, we need to stop lying to these kids. They have to know the truth. As dark as our history may be, if we learn it, we can move forward. We can not do that stuff again. So it's important to tell them the absolute truth about what has happened. Like, yes, There's a history, there's a past. It's ugly, but we don't have to keep being like this. It's about also getting the adults engaged. I know a lot of people, especially people that I know, are just so sick of politics because of all the clown shows that are going on right now. But you can't remove yourself from the situation. That's like sticking your head in the sand. That doesn't fix the problem. The only way that we are going to achieve success as a whole is with advocacy groups that are fighting on the outside and marching and holding, meetings and all of that, and then lawmakers on the inside who are also instilling all of these new laws and policies in place. That is how you get it to stick. So we have to encourage people not to give up on the process. It's going to take time.
Great, thank you. Mrs. Sheplin, you have your hand raised?
I feel like I'm back in the classroom. This is one of the questions I have, and this is not really one, that we had discussed as a leadership team, but, in this very red state, in order to get anything done, we really need to figure out how we can find issues to work across the aisle to, sort of get things done. So anybody can jump into this answer. What are some ways we can do that so that we can be more effective?
So I think I'll jump in on that one first, only because I was asked this on my interview with First Coast Connect the other day. With that, you can't exclude anyone just because they disagree. It's really about learning how to speak their language. We ultimately all do want the same thing, as far as it may seem that we are apart. None of us want to see our government just wasting our tax dollars. They tend to say it a little differently than we do. But at the same time, we all want to make sure that any taxes we are paying is going to do what it's supposed to be doing. Nobody wants to see, corrupt officials. So yes, we want people held accountable on all sides. It's about speaking their language. If you use their, aggressive words like, slash government waste, you'll attract a little more people to the idea. And I know it's boosting things up that are just outrageous at the time, but when you learn to speak that language of those people, that you tend to find that there are more commonalities than differences. So it's just about finding that common ground and saying, okay, what are you looking for? Now, there won't always be common ground. There are those, for example, that don't believe that immigrants belong here at all. Okay, well, here's the ultimate problem with that. We are all immigrants, except for the indigenous. So you'll have to get past that one. That's just the truth of the matter. The sooner, and this falls into telling the truth, the sooner people can accept the truth of what things are, the sooner we can move past all of the arguments.
Thank you.
I'll chime in as well, and I agree. I think the biggest and the key thing we have to do is listen, like put ourselves in some of these areas and listen to what their concerns are, what anyone's concerns are. I think the problem lately, we've been so divided to where we don't have these conversations anymore. And it's tough. It's tough when somebody is completely off base with what they believe, what they think. But we can't let that stop us from listening and then kind of approach it with a sense of like empathy as well. Like, okay, I see where you're coming from and where you're at currently in life. How do I help you move past? And I know that's frustrating. We shouldn't have to hold hands right now, but let's be real with where we're at right now and how people have been lied to and put into this bubble of miscommunication about what's going on. We need to work around this, and we have to stop with the division and the hate that we're seeing and antagonizing each other, to where we start listening, holding firm on what we believe. It doesn't mean we capitulate and change our stances on anything, because 90% of the time, like, we want the same things in life. We just may disagree on how we're going to get there. So it's understanding that, understanding where people have come from. And we've just got to, we're going to have to help a few of them. There's going to be a 30% that we can't communicate with, and that's fine. But there is a majority that we could find some common ground to, if we just put ourselves in that ability to listen and have those tough conversations.
Thank you, Eric. This is a complicated question and no really good answers, but tough answers. Yeah. Susanna?
You're muted.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Well, my dogs were, well, the dogs. So I agree with Eric and everybody. Basically, what we just have to do is try to find common ground, because I've been speaking to a lot of people and more people are really frustrated. So what I have been bringing up since I'm running for Florida House is the corruption in politics and the money in politics and how culture wars are really expensive. Like, what have we gotten out of the Florida legislature in the last 30 years that we've had Republican control? And it depends on the audience. I might not say that per se, but I'll just say, like, what about traffic and overdevelopment? Are you happy with the development that we see? And almost everybody complains about traffic across the board. People who have students in school, I was canvassing on Saturday and I was speaking to a parent who was talking about how he would be in really serious trouble without the public schools because he has a child with autism. And the public schools have really helped him. And he was disgusted by finding out that a neighbor was using the vouchers for a trip. And once they finished the trip, they put the kid back in public schools. And so a lot of the people are learning about what's going on, but if you can come up with something common, it can really make a difference. And I know St. Johns County and Flagler are super red, but I am starting to find a lot of common ground with people just by asking questions and listening and trying to speak less, which isn't my forte. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanna. Rachel had her hand up.
Hey, yeah, thank you. I don't have a ton to add, but we just need to get more people in the Senate and the House of Representatives. That's what we're trying to do right now. And I have always firmly believed in education. Somebody already mentioned that. I think it was Rhodesia, that we just need to get good sources of information out there. That's something I've always believed in, and just keep talking to people. Sometimes, like Susanna said, people just want to be heard, and then you can start to kind of chip away at it from there. But we're just unfortunately in an era of wild information, or not even just wild claims and non-facts all over the place. So that's a tough one, because we really got to crack down on misinformation. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Any other additions to this particular conversation, or does anybody have a kind of follow-up question or another question? Here we go. If not, we had someone email.
Gail's waving her hand.
Oh, excuse me, Gail. Thank you.
Get off of that. Yeah, thank you. First of all, I want to say anything to do with issues regarding people are always first. But I've never heard anybody really address this as far as what they would do. We're just all kind of watching in horror as this person in DC. So this is probably more so directed towards Rachel and LJ, the people that are going to go to DC. Watching the total dismantling of our structures, our institutions, etc. And what can be done? I mean, we don't know how bad it'll be if DC will even be recognizable by the time he leaves office. But I'm looking at things like the destruction of the East Wing, putting up this ballroom, wanting to put up an arch, In other words, it's like somebody came into your home with a wrecking ball. And you're just kind of saying, okay, we're just all kind of watching in horror as all of these treasures of ours in the DC area are just either being, I call it vandalized, or taken away, or things being put up that are just horrible. Would there be any steps that y'all would take once you got to DC to address this issue?
Thanks, Gail.
Eric, were you ready to go?
You can go ahead if you got it.
Oh, Yeah, that's just why my message so much right now is it's important that we get people in there now. This could be our last chance, and it sounds kind of unhinged a little bit, but I really do believe that this is the time, if ever there was a time, to get more reasonable people in there. And it's as soon as we get in there, we have to band together and start to just, hold back any more crazy stuff that the administration comes up with. We've seen Congress roll over on the War Powers Act. We've seen Congress not stand up for just all the War Powers Act. There was something else I was thinking of. Anyway, the War Powers Act is enough, just letting Trump kind of roll over them. And so we just got to be loud and outspoken. And that's what I'm ready for, not being quiet, not being complicit anymore. Can't think of anything else we can really do.
And I would agree. What we've seen right now is we have a Congress that has lost their backbone. So they don't stand up for actually what their power is. And that's the biggest thing, that this new wave of whatever this 120th Congress will be, hopefully we flip a lot of seats. We got to get our power back in this. And Congress has a third of the government, and we don't act like it. Like, we have our current representatives, up and down, especially in Florida. I mean, Randy Fine put out a bill that was basically for the ballroom that says, here, President Trump, you don't even have to go to Congress to get approval for anything when it comes to the ballroom. Like, that's the legislation that our current representatives are putting forth, giving up their power, giving up what their oversight is, which is money. So we have to get in there with some backbone, stand up to this and say, no, buck stops now. We're going to hold off on where these checks are going until there's some balance of power going on. And that's going to be the key, what this election is about right now.
And I have been talking to enough people now that I have seen a trend of reasonable Republicans who are sick of it and have, changed either their party affiliation or the direction in which they're going to vote. So we just got to keep hammering away, and hopefully we can get, the vast majority of the NPAs on our side, as well as just those kind of decent Republicans.
Thanks, Rachel. Ryan?
So I know this is more of like a congressional question, of course, but I also feel the same way about our state because as maniacal as Trump is, DeSantis really isn't better. And I don't know if anyone has been paying attention to the Republican race. I know I do because I need to know what is happening. But they are clawing at each other like crabs in a barrel. Like, it's insane the way that they are. They're not even coming at the Democratic candidates at this point. They are tearing each other apart. It's literally like the leopards eating my face. Like, the way that I am afraid for another Republican to get into office as far as governor, and I say afraid because I don't know how much worse than DeSantis and Trump they will be.
Yeah.
If anyone has paid any attention, for example, to James Fishback, I never thought there could be a more villainous person than DeSantis, who literally lied in everyone's face and said that, schools are required to teach that Black people were taught skills in slavery. I never thought there would be more insulting of a policy made. And then there was James Fishback, who, in his rally, said openly to a Black man who, yes, was heckling him, but openly said, you should be lynched on camera. Mm. I've never had that experience in my life where a politician was just outright racist. Like, Trump has his little moments and DeSantis does it on the slide, but Fishback is just open about it. So at the state level, I can say I know there are things that need to be undone. One of them, for example, which is on my policy platform, is about solar power. We live in the Sunshine State and we get 300 days of sunshine every year. And yet, if I put solar panels on my house, I have to pay JEA for using free sunshine. And I don't know if anybody else finds that asinine, but it is. So one of the things that I intend on putting up is that, hey, this lowers costs for us entirely for everybody, but it also forces these people to stop monopolizing free power. We can stop tearing up the planet because this heat that's outside is not the same heat that I grew up with. So honestly, I said all of that to say my goal is to undo the blockages that DeSantis has put in. Like, he hasn't just made policy; he has directly blocked things. Another thing he's done is with minimum wage. There's a law that says that municipalities cannot have their minimum wage higher than the state. That's just stupid. Why are you blocking if a city is able to pay their people? Why are you putting in a law against them doing that? It's because they want to maintain control in Tallahassee. They want municipalities to come beg them for money. I don't believe in that. If you're able to do better for your people, then do better for your people. We just need to catch up. So that's at the state level.
Thank you, Ryan, and everyone else who contributed. We're going to wrap up in a minute, but we have one more question that came via email. And let me see if I can get my Neanderthal self to get this.
There's a question in the chat.
Yep. Well, go ahead and read it if you want to. I was trying to dig it up.
It's from Juanita Franklin, and it said, and this is for the school board candidates, how will you strengthen support for students with disabilities and ensure that IEPs are in compliance? And I would add to that, and that services are being provided.
Hi there.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Donna.
Sorry, Rhodesia. I actually responded to Juanita in the chat just because I wasn't sure if we'd have a chance. But I would say the biggest reason that any student is out of IEP compliance is due to limited funding, which then leads to not enough teachers, ESE teachers. And I've seen this with my own eyes, and the teachers that I work with often have to service 20 kids in one 90-minute period in 3 separate classrooms. So they go to one classroom for 30 minutes, then they go to another classroom for 30 minutes, then they go to another classroom for 30 minutes, and they stay late and do their meetings, and they stay late and do all of their paperwork. They come early, and their caseloads are huge. The support is low. And a big part of that is because Florida ranks 47th in full-time equivalent funding for every single student. Full-time equivalent funding for students is what pays our teacher salary. It's what pays for the number of teachers, which then pays for how many kids you can have in a classroom. And the ESE teachers work harder than any school or any teacher at the school. They really have a lot on their plates, and they want to do really most of them. Okay, I have worked with a couple that I would say they're the people that are out of compliance because they're not doing their job. But again, we have to get the state to fully fund the public schools. And I know that that's not the answer because I'm not magical and I can't make that happen. But almost every single thing that people would like fixed kind of boils down to we need the money to fully fund education so that all of these programs and safeguards are available to every student. And this is a great case of our highest needs population not getting what they deserve. And parents will be the first people to advocate for their children. And why are you out of compliance? And why isn't my kid getting services? And we just, who has to answer that call? It's the teachers again and again doing more and more for less and less. So that's my answer. I can't wait to hear Rose.
Thanks, Donna. I am super passionate about this area. Every school that I've been in outside of a teacher, once I moved into this specialist and on, I've been over ESE. I think it starts for one with proper monitoring. There are state laws, there's legislation that we have to follow, but starting from the principal down, what is not monitored does not get fixed, or it's not taken to the level of seriousness that needs to be. These are laws. Kids are bound by their ESC, their IEPs, their individual education plans, and they need to be followed. So I've seen a variety of things happening in my tenure and just did not play with that at all. So And what I mean by that is, students, parents, first of all, need to be knowledgeable, because just because their children have an IEP, they don't know what they don't know. So we have to make sure that we are diligent, that we're drilling down to bring them in, to make sure that they're coming to their meetings, to make sure they're a part of the conversations, and that they're not being checked off and someone's telling someone, oh, I talked to the parent over the phone. There's so many things that happen. So we have to make sure that it's being taken serious and it's being monitored and it's happening the way it should be. Also, I want to make sure I just mentioned that in the classrooms and testing and all of the things that every child's IEP is different. So someone may be in a small group, some may be one-on-one. We have to make sure that that's happening within our students. Even though there's shortages and even though there's different things that happen in the buildings, it does not give way to make changes or sacrifices for that child that has those needs. So I can go on and on and on about that, but I will definitely make sure that I am following legislation and policies, but making sure the principals and across the schools are actually doing what they should be doing by the students, by the parents, and making sure that they're following through. But again, it starts at the top of the building to make sure that those that are in charge are ensuring that everything is happening, just like discipline in the ESC department, academic achievement. They all have their lanes and their places, and they need to be followed, and they need to be serious about it.
Thank you very much. Thank both of you very much.
You're welcome.
I don't think I see anyone's hand up. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. All right, if it's okay with everyone, we're going to wrap up. I've got just a couple closing remarks. I just wanted to say, and on behalf of the whole leadership team here at Jax Now, we're so excited about all of you. Some years, we have candidates that were like, well, at least we have a candidate. Not this year. This year we have awesome candidates, which includes me in St. Johns County. I normally have the hold your nose candidates, but this year I've got Susanna, I've got Eric, and we actually have a really great woman running for school board. She had a conflict tonight and couldn't attend, but so we're really excited about all your candidacies, and we are looking forward to supporting you any way we can. I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek because I'm up in Cleveland and then I'm having knee surgery, so I'll be supporting you from my couch. But we're, like I said earlier, encourage all of the people that attended to follow the candidates on social media, like their posts, share their posts, follow us because we follow them, and then we can all kind of follow each other and repost each other. If you don't receive our newsletter, I highly encourage you to. It's awesome. Mason puts it out once a week. It's came out this morning. Yes. No. What's today? Tuesday?
Today.
My God. Listen, these kids have driven me out of my mind. So it comes out once a week, chock full of information. And really what she's got in there now that's super helpful is for pretty much the 5 or 6 counties that our chapter encompasses. She has links to all of the supervisor of elections and their, the dates, the important dates, and about voting. So even if, you don't, I'm sure all of you know the Duval information or the Nassau information. We've got information on there on Clay County and St. John's, and possibly Flagler as well. So anyway, social media, our newsletter, volunteer. If you can donate money, awesome. Everybody can use that. All the candidates can, I know. And if you can also volunteer with your feet, everybody needs that too. And I really admire the folks I see on my social media feeds out there pounding the pavement and canvassing in that heat that you're all in right now. So kudos to you. And if you're interested and able to do that, please let the individual candidates know. Reach out to us in our chapter. We can connect you with whoever you might need to connect to. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to send them to our chapter and I'll forward them on. Or of course, you can contact the candidates directly. And then, of course, the most important thing is to vote. Vote. Make sure you vote. I sent in my ballot before I left, so I'm already, I've already done all of that for me. I know some people like to vote in person. Just make sure you vote. Our voices matter. anyone have any last minute comments? Judy, Gail, Mason,
Of
Carol.
course, anybody who has not donated to our PAC, we're able to fund these candidates and give them as much as we're able to give them, at least the state and local candidates, only by your donations. We don't have any wealthy donors. It's all, relatively small. And, if you are one of the people in the audience, we really appreciate anything because it all goes to the candidates. And it's one way we can provide a little bit of help, other than, getting the word out and voting and, pounding the pavement. So thank you.
Thanks, Judy. I omitted that on purpose so you could say it. All right. If that is it, thank you, candidates, for taking the time tonight. I know this week leading up to early voting, you couldn't be busier if you tried. And I know most of you have jobs you're working in addition. So we couldn't be more appreciative of your time and your hard work on our behalf. So thank you very much. Keep in touch.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.